Hello, welcome to Dear Dr. Mao. As you may have noticed, Dear Dr. Mao has been moved to Tuesdays from Mondays. Today's topic is how to feed and train your gut bacteria. What we're talking about is your microbiome. What is a microbiome? Well, your microbiome consists of trillions of microorganisms or microbiota of thousands of different species. These include not only bacteria but fungus, parasites, and viruses. Now, in a healthy person, all these bugs coexist peacefully, with the majority of them found in the gut, which includes your small and large intestines, but also throughout the body. So your gut has microbes that are both helpful and potentially harmful. Most are symbiotic, meaning where both you and the bacteria benefit, and some, in smaller numbers, are pathogenic that can lead to symptoms and diseases. In a healthy body, pathogenic and symbiotic microbiota coexist without problems. But if there is a disturbance in that balance brought on by an infectious disease, the typical American diet, or the use of antibiotics or other bacteria-destroying medications, the resulting gut dysbiosis, or otherwise known as flora imbalance, disrupts these normal activities. Consequently, you may become more susceptible to disease. One of the most common complaints from our patients at Dala Wellness is, "Hey doc, I woke up okay with a flat stomach, and as the day progressed, I developed abdominal discomfort, gas, and feel bloated and look like I'm 5 months pregnant by the end of the day. I can barely fit into my clothes." Now, can you relate? Please don't describe it on your first date. Well, let me explain. You may be suffering from a bacterial overpopulation condition called SIBO, which stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. It happens when the bad bacteria overcrowds the good bacteria, leading to an excessive production of methane and hydrogen gas. In other words, you're fermenting in your gut like a beer barrel. That doesn't sound good. Besides the disturbance to your microbiome, you can also develop conditions in other parts of your body, such as inflammation, painful muscles and joints, fatigue, brain fog, skin rash, weight gain, and even hair loss, to name a few other of the symptoms. That's because with SIBO, you're much more likely to develop hyperpermeability of your gut lining, or commonly called leaky gut syndrome, which allows foreign proteins from food to leach through the intestinal wall, leading to inflammatory immune response. Sound familiar? Don't despair. Let me teach you how to train your dragon, or gut bacteria. Here, I'm going to share with you a 3-phase process to resolving SIBO. By the way, conventional medicine describes antibiotics, which is helpful in the short term, but soon the condition relapses because most likely it was the antibiotics that caused the problem in the first place when your good bacteria got wiped out, which allowed the bad ones to proliferate. Over the last 35 years, we've developed a 3-phased healing approach at the Dao Wellness to get rid of unruly gut bacteria that has put smiles back on many patients' faces and bellies. Phase 1 is bacterial elimination. You've got to reduce the bad bacteria in your gut without compromising your good ones. How? Quit feeding it. Stop all sugars, including fruits, and reduce simple carbohydrate intake, which means bread, pasta, and pastry made with refined flours. Cut out all gluten grains such as wheat, barley, and rye, and stick with quinoa, millet, and amaranth, and a little brown rice. It's okay. You can also have sweet potato, yams, squash, and pumpkins. Now go easy on beans and legumes. Better yet, cut them out for now if you can during this first phase. We use herbs that can selectively inhibit bad bacteria and leave good ones unharmed. I recommend berberine extract from Coptitis root, which is a natural antibacterial Chinese herb. Along with a low residue diet, berberine can help reduce the amount of fermentation and gas by reducing the bad bacteria population, and what you will notice is vastly reduced bloating and gas. Phase 2 is gut lining healing. Now that the bad bacteria population is under control, you've got to repair the lining to prevent the leaky gut phenomenon, and therefore the systemic symptoms. I mentioned earlier. How? I incorporate good fats with medium chain fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acid, and glutamine-rich foods such as coconut oil, papaya, pineapple, flax, hemp, and chia seeds, nuts, fish, miso, and eggs. These will heal and strengthen the intestinal walls. We also incorporate plant-based enzyme called phytoenzyme for this phase to mop up the inflammation both within your gut and the rest of your body. Phase 3 is repopulate and recolonize with the right probiotics. Now that the bad bacteria has calmed down, you'll want to get the good bacteria population to dominate. So take a good probiotic supplement. We use one called Super Probiotics that has 10 strains and 10 billion of good bacteria that is in a medium with prebiotics, meaning the right kind of food to keep them alive and well. In your diet, you'll also want to incorporate fermented foods such as kefir, yogurts, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, and other low-sugar, probiotic-rich foods. Now, of course, you need to feed your good bacteria with good food, such as balanced proportions of whole grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, fermented plant-based dairy products, and small amounts of animal products if you so desire. Remember, if you must take antibiotics, you should take probiotics during and for at least 1 week afterwards to preserve your microbiome. Here you have it. All the supplements I mentioned can be found at taostar.com. That's TAO star.com. I hope you've learned how to feed and train your gut bacteria from this episode. Tune in next week for heart healthy eating. Until then, live long, live strong, and live happy.